Hello there, you beautiful people, and in this lecture we're going to create the email slicer. So I hope you're excited. This project is going to tie together everything we've learned about strings in this section, such as gathering user input, slicing, string formatting, and even the occasional string method. So basically how this is going to work is that we're going to ask the user for their email address using the input function. After that, we're going to slice the email address for the username and the email domain name, and the username is what is before the @ symbol and the domain name is what's after the @ symbol, in case you're wondering. So we're going to use string formatting to output the user a message that tells them their username and their domain name. Pretty cool, right? So after this lecture, you're going to understand how each of the different pieces regarding strings fits together, and you're also going to have built another cool Python program to prove it. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is create another script. So let's go File, New File, save this on the desktop in the Python Bible, and I'm going to call this slicer.py. And when I maximize this, we're all good to go. So I'm going to use Python comments to help give us a bit of an outline for what we're going to do in the project. The first thing we're going to do is to get the user's email address. So get user email address. Then we're going to slice out the username. Slice out username. We're going to slice out the domain name, slice domain name. We're going to format some kind of output message, so format message, and then we're going to display the output message, so display output message. Awesome, that's easy enough, right? Alright, so now that we've planned out our project, let's follow the checklist and get the user's email address. Now for this, as you'll recall, to get a input from a user, we need to use the input function. So we're going to call whatever they input a variable called email, and use the input function by asking them a question: what is your email address? Just like that. I'm also just going to capitalize it to make sure it looks a bit nicer. Now, the user may very well type in their email address and then accidentally press a space or something like that, which we don't want inside of our input. So whatever the user inputs, we're going to strip away all of the blank spaces from it using the strip string method. So voila, there we are. There's the first step of the project done. So as step number 2, we need to slice out the username. Now the username is everything up to the @ symbol. So if they're, for example, if their email was like, bobdoe@thingy.com, then their username would be bobdoe and the domain name would be thingy.com. Okay, so we just want the username at the minute, which is everything up until the @ symbol. So I want you to create a variable called user, and using the index function and a slice, I want you to take a slice of the email variable, and which corresponds to their email address. It could be any email address. So I want you to use the index function to take a slice up until the @ symbol and save that in the variable called user. So you know the drill. Pause the video now and come back when you're done with that to see how you did. So how'd you get on? This is the way that I'd have gone about doing it. Let me just delete this. I would have created a variable called user and assigned it the value of a slice from email, starting at the beginning up until the index of the @ symbol. Okay, so everything up to the @ symbol is going to be saved in the user variable. Nice and easy. Alright, so now we need to get the domain name, which is everything after the @ symbol. So as another micro challenge, I want you to use slices again to store in a variable called domain everything after the @ symbol in the email variable. So go ahead now and pause the video and give that a go. Try to get everything after the @ symbol, not including the @ symbol, bear in mind, everything after the @ symbol all the way until the end of the string, and then come back to see how you did. How did it go? Did you get on all right? It was a bit tricky, right? So the way that I'd have done it is I'd have created a variable called domain, and I'd have set that equal to a slice from email, but we want to take everything after the @ symbol, right? So the way that I do that is I take the index of the @ symbol, like that. But we don't want to start there, because if we start there, then what's going to happen is it's going to include the @ symbol. So I want to take from that index plus 1. I want to go to the one after it. Then just use a colon to go all the way up until the end of the string. So this is the way that I'd have done it. Our start is the index of the @ symbol plus 1. So it's 1 after it. So if the index was 5, then this would give us 6, which is 1 after. And then we'd use the colon to give us a shortcut to go all the way until the end of the string. And that's going to get us their domain name. All right, so the next step is to create the output message. And the output message is going to look something like this. I'm going to have output equals your username is blank and your domain name is blank. Now, I want you to, at the end of this string here, to use the format function to put in the first place the username, and in the second place the domain name, which we've taken out from here. So as a micro challenge, use the format function to put the username in here, the domain name in here, then come back to see how you did. So hopefully that went well for you. This is the way that I'd have done it. I'd have just typed .format, because format is again a string method, and I'm going to put in the first thing user, because that's what holds our username. Then I'm going to put a comma, and after that I'm going to put domain, because domain holds our domain name. And that should be that. So now all we've got to do is print out the output message, right? So print output. Now when I save and run that, let's just see how this works. Let's okay, so what's your email address? Let's say we have super awesome name at galacticmail.com, right? This doesn't exist, by the way, and if it does and you're watching this, then you're the unluckiest person alive. But anyway, if I do that, it's going to say your username is super awesome name and your domain name is galacticmail.com. Way! So there we are. We've managed to slice up an email address into its username and its domain name using Python slices. Well done. I bet you should probably give yourself a proper pat on the back if you followed through this and understood everything. And you should feel now that you have Python strings down pat. You have Python strings under your belt and you're a master of them. So well done. Now, we've covered a lot in this section of the course, and as usual, I'm just going to have a quick recap in the next video of what we've learned to prime you for the next exciting section of the course on logic. So congratulations once again on following through this project and being able to create an email slicer. I'll see you in the next video for a recap, and then we'll move on to learn all about logic. So I'll see you in the next video.